welcome. I am Winnie.
And I'm Winner.
And we are team SSANGDUNGIDUL. So in today's video, my twin and I will be teaching you all an easier way of telling time in Korean. So let's get started.
As Korean language learners, one of the most important things you ought to learn in Korean is time. At first, it may seem a bit confusing and tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes very easy. So when we started our Korean language class, one topic we never looked forward to was time, because we thought it was very difficult, considering the fact that you have to impute both numbering systems, which is the Korean native numbering system and the Sino Numbering System when telling time in Korean language. And this can be very difficult, considering the fact that some persons still mix it up wrongly. But not to worry, because today we will be teaching you all how to tell time properly in Korean, and hopefully after this video you will be able to tell time in Korean without any difficulty. So please note, knowing the both numbering systems will actually make it a lot easier for you to learn the Korean time. So if you do, it's kind of like an added advantage. Now when telling time in Korean, you make use of shi and bon. Shi is a counting unit for hour, while bon is a counting unit for minutes. Now shi uses the native Korean numbering system, which is the hana, tu, se, and ne. While bo uses the Sino numbering system, which is the il, I, sam, sa, and the rest. Now, another important factor you need to note is that when using the counting unit, the first 4 native Korean number changes when the quantifier is attached, and the same also applies to time. Example, hana changes to han, tul changes to do, set changes to set, and ne changes to ne, but the rest number remains the same. This rule is not applicable to the Sino numbers, just the first 4 native Korean numbers. And also, when telling time in Korean, you make use of ochon and ohu. Ochon means AM and ohu means PM. Now, ochon and ohu comes before time to indicate if it's morning, afternoon, or evening. Secondly, ban is sometimes used in place of bon, which is a counting unit for minutes. But note, it's only used when the minute is half past. For instance, if it's 1:30, 2:30, 9:30, 4:30, and the rest of them, you can make use of ban. But if it's otherwise, let me say 1:20, 1:40, 1:25, and the rest of them, then you make use of bon. Now let's move on to the practical aspect of this video. Now welcome to the practical aspect of this video. Just like we said earlier, let's take for instance, if you're asked meaning what is the time right now, and let's say the time is 10:25 a.m. in the morning, 25 a.m. in the morning. Now just like we said earlier, a.m. represents what? Ochon. So the first thing you have to do is to write down the ochon, because it comes before what? The numbers. And like we said earlier, the native Korean number represents the hour, while the Sino represents the minute. So the native number comes first, and 10 in the native Korean number is what? Yor. So you have to write down the yor, and then it's counting into the shi, plus the next number, which is what? The Sino numbers. Now 25 in the Sino number is written as what? O, I, shi, o. So you have to write down I, shi, o, and don't forget to what? Add its counting unit, which is what? The bon. And your e and I, yo. This is a complete and the correct format for writing time in Korean. We have what? The ochon or the ochon or the ohu. Then you have your native number plus what? The counting unit, which is shi, and then your Sino numbers plus the counting unit, which is the bon. Then your e and I, you will be coming to this e and your y is always included in the time. Now the next example, let's say for instance it is 6:30 p.m. in the evening. Now since AM means ocean, O automatically means what? Ohu. So to write down the ohu first, and the next 6 in native Korean number is what? Yosot. So we write the yosot plus its counting, which is what? Shi represents the hour. And then we move on to what? The Sino numbers. Now 30 in Sino number is what? Sam ship. And it's written this way, Sam ship. That's why I say you need to like have an idea of the Korean numbers, so it aid you in knowing the time. And then what? Sam ship bon. E, U. And just like we said earlier, bon, if the minute is half past, sorry, you can make use of bon, which is also the counting unit for what?
half past. That's if the minute is half past. So if you don't want to write it this way, you can say Ogu your she, which is the hour, ban yo. Just like we said earlier, the ban has replaced what? The Sino number and its count unit, which is the Sam sheep bone yo. But this format is only used when the minute is half past. But if it's anything aside half past, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, then you make use of the bone, and then to make what? A complete sentence. Now, always remember in Korean time that what? The native number comes first before what? The Sino number. And it is used to tell the hour, while the Sino is used to tell the minute. And also that the AM or PM, which is the Ohu or the Ochon, comes first before the time, and then you add your A and EA, just like we have here. Ochon came first, which is the AM. Yoshi, which is 10 in the native number, and its counting is she plus what? The Sino number. Ishibo, yes, Ishibo, then Bun, which is its counting unit, and then the A and EAO. Here too, we did the same thing. It was PM, used 6:30 PM as an example, and then the Ogu came first, which represents the PM. The Yosot Shi came next, which is what? The native number and the hour, plus the Samshi Bun, the A and EAO. Now, we also said that if you don't want to make use of the bone, that's if the counting, so if the minute is what? Half past, then you make use of the Ogu, Yososhi, Ban, EAO. Now, the ban has replaced what? The Sino number, and also replaced what? The bone that's supposed to be there. Now, lastly, always remember the following key factors when telling time in Korean. Remembering this will aid you in knowing the current time easier. Now, first of all, Ochon and Ohu. Just like we said earlier, Ochon represents what? AM, and Ohu what represents what? The PM, and they both come first before the time. Secondly, the native numbers and the Sino numbers. Now, the native Korean number is used to tell the hour, and it comes first before the Sino number. It uses what? The she, while the Sino numbers is used to tell the minutes, and it comes second, and it uses what? The boom. Now, thirdly, air and EAO. I know some of you will be wondering why air and EAO is always placed after time. Now, here are the reasons. First of all, air is a time marker which is used to indicate time, and also it is used to express an action or an event that has already occurred. While EAO, on the other hand, is used to modify and form a sentence, and also it's also equivalent to the English word is, and what? Are. So they are both used to form a complete and a correct sentence. Now, lastly, the first four native Korean number changes when a quantifier or a counting unit is attached. Now, the first four number, native Korean number, which is the Hana, Do, Se, Ne, changes. So here is what I mean when I said that the first four native Korean number changes when a quantifier or a counting unit is attached. Now, Hana changes to Han, Do changes to Do, Se changes to Se, and Ne changes to Ne. Now, this principle is, or this rule is only applicable to the first four native numbers, but the Dasot, Yosot, Ilgo, Pyodo, and the rest of them remains the same. And also the Sino number also what remains the same. It's just the first four native Korean number that changes when a counting unit is attached. Once you've mastered all this, trust me, telling time in Korea will be a piece of cake. I know it can be a bit confusing and tricky and the rest of them, but there are lots of videos on YouTube that teaches the Korean numbering system. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, you can drop it in the comment section, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Annyeong!